Hey there. I'm Annette. I'm your host here at Word on the Curb. Thank you for coming back and joining us this evening. We're a little behind schedule today. We've had some hiccups and some technical difficulties with our guests. In spite of that, we're going to carry on until they can get on. Again, I'm Annette. I'm your host here at Word on the Curb. I'd like to thank my producers from New Pod City, Trenton Waves, Frank and Christina Sasso. Thank you. I'd like to remind you that we are on Apple, we're on Spotify, we're on Blurberry, we're on YouTube, and we're on Facebook on three different pages on Facebook. The Black Girls Locker Room, from whence we post Solidarity Wins, and at What Trenton Really Makes, and Word on the Curb podcast on Facebook. That's right. And so, again, thank you for joining me on YouTube. Please hit the like, subscribe, and share button and ring the bell. Tell people about us. So, tonight is dating part two. And I'm going to wait a few minutes for my guests. And if they don't make it in, I am going to continue on with the topic dating part two. Before I do, I'd like to thank uh, those who are joining me this evening. I have Yolanda.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello. Sorry for my tardiness.
No apologies necessary. I'm going to carry on. You can mute for a second.
Okay, thank you.
We're just waiting. We're just waiting. Um, so before I do, I'd like to shout out somebody that I really admire and respect in the catering business, and that's Elisa Robinson Carter. She does a phenomenal job. And the reason I'm shouting her out is because I've dealt with her on many occasions. And I promise you, not only is the food delicious, it's typically brought to you hot, which is a feat in and of itself for those of you who cook and you know when you're traveling. But it's always prepared just right. And one of the things I admire most about this young businesswoman is that she listens to you. When I say that she listens, she listens. She can tell you some of the things I like, some of the things I don't like, what works for me. Since going through some health issues, I'm a little sensitive to heat now, and she definitely cooks with the heat, and I love it. But I can't tolerate it now, and she respects that and works with me in that. And I think that's important to note because and I'm going to mention some other caterers here tonight too, but Elisa is one of my favorites. And it's important to note that she listens because a lot of people don't. They prepare the food the way they prepare it. If you don't like it, too bad. That's not her style. She listens and she provides quality service. So shout out to Elisa Robinson Carter, my girl, doing her thing. I'd also like to shout out Sakina, who's in Hamilton Township now. I forget the name of the place that she is. Sakina's my niece, and she also does a phenomenal job in catering. I had a party a while back and I wanted some of those soul rolls. And let me tell you, they were phenomenal. You know, women, us, we can cook. We know how to season that food just right. And so I'm really proud of these women who cater. And then to add to that, my daughter and son in law, the mobile, the Ingram Kingdom Mobile Kitchen. They provide for me all the time, as they're going to do for Thanksgiving. Sister Seasonings has put me up on some seasoning. That's Amaris, Lenore, my oldest and boldest daughter. And so I'm shouting these women out tonight because women's history is 365, 24/7. And when you see them, tap into them, please. One of the ladies on the podcast this evening is Yolanda Landy Robinson, and she is doing some phenomenal things. She has this podcast I want you guys to listen to. It's 55 plus, and that's where she's dealing with the seasoned, warmed up audience about the things that impact them, how it works, and what they can do to access services, and just to talk about their feelings. And I think that's a phenomenal thing. I think she had Mr. Daniels on recently. He's one of my favorites. When my husband died, this man was so incredibly supportive of me. And so, Mr. Daniels, I just want to shout you out and tell you thank you. And Yolanda, I want to thank you for being the creator and host of that podcast
Thank you.
and keeping people abreast of what they can do and where they can go. And so, for anybody suffering a loss in this season, here's what I want you to know. They were not, there are no mistakes. It's not easy for us when we're grieving, but there are no mistakes. Nobody gets to heaven by accident. So if the name is called and that's where they are, that's what you believe. I'm believing with you. And I'm telling you that you just take it a day at a time and everything's going to be all right. Death is one of the hardest things in this world to accept. I said in this world. So let's get on with it. Tonight, we're expecting several other guests. And until they arrive, and even if they don't, we're going to keep moving. So, Yolanda, come on, introduce yourself, baby. Tell them who you are and why you're here.
Oh, well, hello. Thank you. Thank you so much, Queen Annette, for having me on. I love you. I love what you do. I love the realness, because a lot of times people do a lot of things and they don't bring their authentic self. And I truly appreciate you for doing what you're doing. Well, hello everyone. I'm Yolanda L. Robinson. Live in the city of Trenton. I love my city. I love the travel. I
Yeah,
love my seniors. I love the youth. I just like to be around people and make sure that people are living a good quality life that they can, no matter where you are, no matter what your circumstances are, your financial level. People think because you have money that you're doing better than other people. Money don't, that's not it. You can have money and still be sad,
that's right.
you know. So but that's who I am, just Yolanda.
And traveling and cruising and
Yes,
a lot of other things. It's called Trenton Travels.
yes. And we're getting ready to doing a pre-Christmas cruise. We leave out on December 10th and we come back on the 18th.
Okay.
And so we're going to be doing that coming up soon. So we're excited about that, taking a little cruise for Christmas, a pre-Christmas cruise.
Okay.
Hmm.
And if I wasn't already committed, I'd be on that cruise with you.
I know, right?
But yeah, I'm committed to some things until after December 17th.
Hmm.
And then my birthday is the 19th, so I'll be celebrating then. But, you know, um, let's talk about, you hit on something I think is incredibly important. And somebody was sharing about it today across social media. A lot of people think that their wealth is in their big houses, multiple houses, expensive cars, designer clothes, and all that other good stuff. It's not.
Mm-mm. It's a lot of work. That stuff gets dusty. It's a lot of work. Okay. And the reason why I can say that is I had a 5-bedroom house, 2-car garage, all that stuff, And
Mm-hmm.
before I had that, I was homeless, right? So I've circulated, and I've experienced a lot of different things, and even now I say to myself, I'm good. I don't need all that stuff. God has showed me that you don't need all that stuff. You just needed to live. And because a lot of times it takes us away from why we're here. We're so busy, like you say, dusting, wiping down, working late, working hard, trying to hold on to all those things. So like you say, the wealth don't it don't really, if you're okay and you got somebody doing everything for you, okay, never lose your money because you will have to start doing it yourself.
That's right. And so let's talk about that just a little bit more, and then we're going to hop into our topic. So, you know, all of those expensive things, I don't care whether you're buying them personally or with a business, it's debt.
Mm-hmm.
So, whether you're owning a business, because with a business, you can get all types of credit and do all types of things. And don't ask me how I know, but you can. But I
Mm-hmm.
want you to remember that it's all debt.
Saw that.
It's all debt.
Mm-hmm.
Very few people are paying off all their homes, all their cars, all their this, all their that. Listen, live while you're living. Because guess what? No matter what happens, we're all going to die. What are you
Mm-hmm.
going to do until then? What are you going to do until then? What are you going to do until you die?
You better live.
You better live. Let's talk about this dating thing.
Oh my.
Let's talk. Oh, yeah. My. So, the first thing I want to say is I got a lot of feedback on our last podcast.
Really?
Yeah, I got a lot of feedback. And people were a little shy about, coming on. We listen, unless you reveal your name coming in, we don't know who you are. And even when you watch the podcast, we don't know who you are. I get the analytics. And here's what I'll tell you. What you see on Facebook is not the analytics. The analytics is sent to me as a podcaster or a blogger, as they refer to me here on Facebook. And I can see how many people actually watched. And with their show, there was over like 500 people who viewed it.
Yeah.
They
Excellent.
didn't stay for the full time, but they viewed it. And that's important because the more they view, the more, they get to see us and they get to hear us talking about dating. So, dating, this whole thing started because people were saying what happened was this girl went out on a date and the guy came to pick her up and she was an hour late because she was getting ready. So she held him up for an hour. He had reservations, but of course, an hour late, you lose your reservations. I think they give you 15 minutes
Yeah.
tops.
Mm-hmm.
And he lost the reservation. And as a result of that, he still wanted to take her out. So he took her to Cheesecake Factory. And she refused to get out the car with this whole thing about do you see how I'm dressed? Do you see how I'm look? Look, I'm not going in there. So we started talking about it. And then I brought the, folks into the podcast to talk about it because I'm more interested in his character. That's who he really is
Mm-hmm.
than I am in anything else. Has a bug that causes echo. Hold on for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Shauna, so you're going to have a little echo because you're on your phone?
Yeah, I am on my phone. I have an echo.
Now you're good. So you can
Okay,
stay right where you are. Now you're good.
we're gonna pray that it stay this way. Hey, Trouble, how you doing this evening?
Oh, Trouble.
You
And that,
are, you are
and that would
not,
be a good name because she's trying to get us kicked off last week.
Not tonight.
not tonight.
Not tonight.
Not tonight.
So
All
we're
right, how y'all
explaining.
doing? I'm sorry I'm late.
That's okay. We're glad you're here. We were explaining why I started the podcast and the discussion about dating because of those lists and where people are willing to go and where they're not willing to go. And I ended with I'm more concerned with their character than I am the restaurant because I'd much rather a simple date, coffee, a
Okay.
museum, something simple.
Right.
But let's talk about that a little bit because this thing with folks has gone viral. Hi, Dennis. Dennis Rogers is with us. This thing has gone viral about where people are willing to go and where they're not willing to go. And I want to be abundantly clear about it. Come on, y'all.
Now, I would like to chime in on this, right? Because believe it or not, I saw the list, but I had not seen the actual viral video that started the list.
Right.
So, I had to go back and get to looking, right? Because, I need to see the everything, okay?
Yes.
So I wanted to say, first off, kudos, kudos, kudos to the gentleman, okay? Because through it all, I believe that he remained a gentleman,
He did.
even when he was being treated very disrespectful, okay? Now, I'm
Mhm.
all for women, women as a whole, and when we right, I'll stand 10 toes down for it, okay? She was dead wrong in the situation, but I thought more so to be treated with such disrespect that he still was willing to power through and say, you know what? Well, I'll still have a meal with you. Not knowing that she had the man sit outside for over an hour. And then when he explained to her, well, listen, this is where I was going to take you. And she says, well, call him. You can find somewhere that's more equivalent. So just her attitude. So I also saw a follow-up interview really quickly of the two of them. And the gentleman was just saying that he's not really found luck and love because of what happened. A lot of women were like really coming down on him. But I just wanted to say this, okay? We as a whole have to do much better, okay? And in that, my whole thing, like I said last week, you don't have to spend $1 million to be in my company, okay? If I like you enough or we're vibing enough that I say, okay, well, look, let's go ahead, let's go out, then okay, but you don't have to break the bank to go out with me. And like I was saying before, dating is by your preference, okay? If you and I are talking and I tell you, listen, I love a good movie and, or I like a good cup of coffee or whatever the case is, it's by preference, whatever your preference is. And I'm not opposed to that. But I do disagree with the fact that you need to wine and dine me and I treat you like dog poop underneath the bottom of my shoe. I felt that was really, really low. And us as women, I've been seeing a lot of things on social media that makes me laugh where the guys will say, I even seen like a spoof where the lady supposedly had taken the guy out and he says, you took me to Cheesecake Factory? You see the way I'm dressed? It was a spoof, right?
Right.
But
right.
we would not like it if we were treated that way. You would not like it because guess what? At the end of the day, it's your hard-earned money. And if you choose to spend it on someone, the least you can be is grateful. Now, I'm not saying bow down and kiss the ring because I took you over there to the Applebee's. I'm not saying that. However, be grateful that somebody is willing to spend their money to entertain you to be in your company. So that was just what I wanted to say. I know it's a little long-winded, ladies, but that thing has bothered me. And I kept saying I couldn't wait to get with you ladies because I wanted to sound off about it.
Come on, Yolanda.
Well, I mean, I think you made some great points. I'm glad you dived into it and did the research because I did not.
Okay.
I did dive more into it because the fact some of the things that you said, because I don't feel like my brain being wish-wash with all the different, well, he should have did this, she should have did that. No, like you said, it's preference. Like you said, if I'm spending my money, let me spend my money the way I want to spend my money. But if you don't want it to spend that way, we don't got to go nowhere, but we can talk on the phone for hours. I listen, I will talk till I fall asleep.
Okay.
I've done that.
I'm forgetting to do simple things like that.
I've done that.
To know each other. Y'all are running out to eat already. Like, sit down.
Yeah.
You had breakfast, lunch. Just relax. We don't want to take the time, ladies, to get to know each other, people anymore, because it's too much going on. Everybody's so busy with social media, then the phone like this, So guess what? All she probably was going to do was be in her phone anyway, no matter where he took her.
Or post it, because it's all about the post. Have you ever seen where the women were taking pictures of their plate? They go out to these fancy places and they're taking pictures of the food. And the guy said, well, no, show me. The lady was doing it. He told her, lift your phone up. He said, you want to show the food that I purchased? Show the person who bought it for you.
Yeah.
And she felt some type of way. Like, you want to show off what I'm doing for you, but you want to keep me a secret. So it goes both ways. And I believe that the guys have a valid point when it comes to stuff like that, So we don't want to cheapen the experience. And we also don't want to take shorts, as women. I don't want to take a short because I'm going out with you. If we're talking, we're vibing enough. And I say, well, hey, let's go, whatever. You know, at that particular point, if I'm willing to spend time with you, we can pretty much do whatever. You know what I mean? But I think that women, we have to dial it back a little bit, you know, and I don't think that you should be wanting someone to take you where you couldn't take yourself. That's key for me. You know, if you wouldn't take yourself there, because it starts, if you treat yourself real special, then you're only going to expect or not accept anything less.
Yeah.
Okay. But if you're Applebee's girl at best, okay, how dare you? How dare you? Okay. On somebody else's dime. How dare you? Don't get me wrong. It's nice to have it. Okay. It's nice to have it and be treated well. But now if the best you can do for you is a 2 for $20 at the Applebee's, listen now. Okay. Let's be realistic. So that's my point. So what you got to say, Yolanda?
Shut down. This week is your turn. It's her turn today. But no, like you said, we have to be careful, because I tell you, one of the things we heard women say, they hate the man say hi beautiful. You ever heard the man say hi beautiful? The women now just have a fit. Oh, don't say that. You say it to everybody. Okay, it's okay. Calm down. What you want him to call you, Frankenstein?
Okay, because then it'd be an issue. But listen,
it's fourth.
Yeah.
How about how are you? And they go, successful.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay, sis. Yolanda, let me make you laugh, right? I'll get, right, because I'm super silly, right? Super silly, big jokester. So a lot of times, like this one guy said to me, oh, you are beautiful. And I said, well, thank you. And so he was like, oh, no, I'm serious. I said, sir, I get that all the time. Okay, I just can't turn it off. Yeah. So I'm used to it. He thought he would fall out laughing. He said, I never heard that before. I said, so it's not a foreign concept to me. Thank you, for noticing.
Yeah. Thank you. It's my 10th one today. Thank you. Because that's, the thing is, we make it hard to date. Okay. Because the men, they don't know what to do. So they'll date 5 of us. Okay, because you got one want to go to Applebee's. Okay, I can take you there, boo. You got one that don't want to come outside, so I'll be over at 10. Okay, when the kids go to sleep. You got all these different variables. So he dating 5 women at one time because he's trying to be satisfied. He ain't sleeping with all of them, but he's getting something from
everybody. Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
I agree. And it's sad because.
Yeah.
It's sad because you don't want that to be your reality. You don't want to have to go to 5 different men to get your needs, met. You really don't. Because my thing is, the point of dating or actively dating, in my opinion, is to be able to narrow down that one person that you can get majority of the things you're looking for. I don't think you'll get 100% from anybody when their representatives are gone. Okay. When the representative is there, girl, listen. You get 110% of everything you're looking for, okay? But when the representatives are gone, you would like to at least be able to have majority of the things that you're looking for realistically, because you're not going to be 110 to somebody else, and then again, maybe you may just do it for them. But I think it takes a serious level of being realistic. And I think a lot of times these ladies these days, and I'll say it's not everybody, but they have unrealistic ideals when it comes to certain things. Or if a man don't do this and a man don't do that, but that I believe is social media driven. A lot of these younger women, they're looking at the celebrities. Like, for example, we're looking at the Carishas and the Diddies, and we're looking at these women have money by themselves. Okay. You're looking at the Spice and the this one and that one, right? They have money themselves, so they can do all of these high level things for themselves. So the men who would like to entertain them or be in their company, they're really raising the stakes. But now, sir, if you're over here, okay, and you're not making that level, sir, okay, I'm not going to require you to ice me out or shopping spree me when we first go out, because that's not what your pockets are giving.
No, right. You sound like we want to go. beer. We're going into the hall.
So let me say this. Let me say this. Ladies, I want to be clear. When you're dating, until you both agree to be exclusive, keep dating.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
That door.
One date is not a commitment. Keep
Last
dating.
week we touched on something last week, and I couldn't wait to talk about it this week. Okay. When we left off last week, we had brought up a couple different little, scenarios, and I was mentioning to you ladies that I had seen on another podcast somewhere where it was gentlemen, it was a bunch of guys, and they were talking, and they were like laughing and just saying, their experience, with dealing with women and just different things that they do, like locker room talk, if you will.
Yeah.
And one of the gentlemen brought up, basically the concept of being like a couch surfer, if you will, or in between residents. We'll say that in between residents, right?
That blew my
Maybe
mind.
getting out of one situation with somebody, but looking to start another situation, or what they call it is, the cuddling season. Right now, we're in cuffing season. So, they're trying to get with somebody, so they can.
Cuffing
Okay,
season?
well, cuffing season, right now, okay,
Stop
the
laughing,
weather is getting
Yolanda.
cooler. The weather is getting cooler. And that's where us full-figured women come into play, okay? Because these fellas, listen, girls, okay, these fellas, they are looking for somewhere nice and cozy. They want to eat well, and they want to be loved up and huddled, cuffed up with somebody.
Okay.
So normally they call the fall, winter, that's like cuffing season, okay? So you find someone, and now you kind of lock in a new residence for that, that season, but by springtime, you're kind of done with that individual, and it's something completely different. So the guys we're talking about, joking about how they would make mention, I'm gonna go over here, and when I get with her sexually, I'm gonna do A, B, and C, like I don't have anywhere else to go. So I thought that was pretty interesting, and I laughed like, what, is that a thing? Where they were like just talking about how well they would perform in the bedroom to really kind of secure their spot in that woman's home. So I just thought it was so funny. Huh?
For the winter?
Well, right. Well, for that cold winter month season, the fall, the winter, the colder months, if they were in between residences. So I said, wow. So the one guy had brought up, he was like, you have to be careful because, a lot of these men, they're homeless sexuals. And I was like, not homeless sexuals, but the concept was being in between residents, maybe from one relationship to another, jumping right into another one to secure a spot to stay. So what do you think about that, Yolanda?
I think it's trifling.
Absolutely.
Yolanda,
And they doing it.
I'm gonna need you to throw those braids. I'm gonna need you to throw them when you say trifling.
I think it's trifling.
Okay.
You not throw it right?
Yes.
Yes.
Because the reason why I say that is the women know. But
absolutely.
We just, I guess, I'm gonna just say it. Sometimes I guess as women, like, well, I guess I don't want to be alone. Child, listen.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you're gonna have to be the one to go down there and flick the furnace on. Okay. Let me tell you, this might get the show shut down now. My grandmother,
here she comes,
told me as a young girl. She said, "Listen, it's best to have a man handy with a hammer than handy."
Absolutely.
Because these men right now, they only handy in the bed. Give them a hammer and see what they can do. That's what I'm trying to say. The next time a man want to date me, honey, can you put this picture on the wall? Ask them to do something. We don't ask the men to do anything.
We don't require it anymore.
It's just come on in, sir. I got my own place here. It's well heated. Now I don't want to talk about nobody, but I'm just saying, if you live in the PJs right now, just be careful about the men that's getting ready to start buzzing around you.
What's the PJs?
Yeah.
What's the projects?
Yeah. So be careful, ladies, if you live over there, because y'all know the heat is real pumping.
Subsidized high housing, and then they don't pay public service, I don't believe. So, that heat is good and it's good and hot.
He's not going to help. Like she said, he's going to come in that room and flip you over 10,000 times. Okay? And then he's
A little baby boy, a little Ving Rhames and baby boy.
gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, like when I'm telling you, back in the day, when we were dating, you know, back in the day we had kids, when the men would come to see you, they would have food. Okay, they would bring something. They wouldn't just come like, okay, it's weekend. Okay, I'm gonna bring pizza. You got kids? Okay, do they eat pizza? Do they eat pizza? Okay. Oh, you got grocery? Okay. Because my whole thing is, don't just come here empty-handed, because what are you trying to leave with? You know what I mean? You come in here empty-handed. What are you coming here for? What are we doing here today? What's happening? Because you're not who.
Absolutely.
And what time are you coming? Because you also got to be careful of the time that they come. I had to tell this one guy, I said, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not, because you keep coming at night. You need to come in the daytime. Because, you know, who's hiding? I know I'm not. So you got to be honest with these men, because if not, you're going to be in a relationship for 5 years with a revolving door. Nothing set, nothing in stone, just in a relationship.
Well, can I say something also? I think a lot of times you get like in these cycles of, well, you know, for some situations and not all, I think a lot of the younger women, they've seen it modeled. And doesn't necessarily have to be a good thing, but they might have seen it modeled in the sense that, oh, well, you know, Mr. So-and-so would come, you know, in the evening and stuff like that, being respectful of the kids. You know, that's the guys that this, oh, they being respectful of my children, so they don't just pop up at my house, and they not really realizing or taking into consideration, no, you know, you coming over here for one thing, you don't want to be seen any other time, because it's not something serious. So if the woman don't require, oh no, you're going to respect me in the daylight and in the evening, sir, or you can keep it stepping. So, you know, it's one of those things that us as women, we got to stand on these values. You know what I mean? You have to stand on it. You know, my mom was a single mother, but we didn't see a whole lot of men running in and out. We just did not, you know, and if we ever got to meet anybody, you know, it wasn't in our home turf. You know, it really wasn't. You know, they might have been out or something, maybe in a store or something, you know, so that how you doing, you know, and that was just basically it. Like my mom was really mindful about parading people in front of us, you know, and my mother and father were not together. And my father was very active in our lives, but we didn't see a whole lot of men. And growing up, you know, I've tried to model that same thing with my children, because you just don't want everybody around them. And then it seems like, you know, it's bad enough when you get into a situation and you think everything is great, and then it don't work out. And then your children like, well, where Mr. So-and-so, or where, you know what I mean? So it's a lot, and it takes a toll on everybody. So you try to make the best choices that you can. But I tell you, girl, it's flaky, and we're not dealing with a whole lot of, you know, I'm not going to put down the whole situation, because there are some stand-up men out there where they are probably hiding from the bad experiences that they've had with some of the women. Oh, what you say, Yolanda?
They're out there, you know, just like you said, how do you find that person? You know what I mean? Because like you said, everybody is still, they could be with you, but they over here, they looking over there too. You know what I mean? So it's like, what do you do? Do you just say, okay, I'm gonna be with this person while we together? When we ain't together, I ain't even gonna worry about that. Who wants to do it?
I would advise all women to get outside their comfort zone.
That's key.
Get
That's
outside
key.
the comfort zone, because if you stay in the area that you're familiar, what you're going to find is whoever you date has already been with her,
absolutely,
him,
expand your territory. Yeah.
Get outside
absolutely.
the comfort zone. Go to another city and visit a museum. Go to another city and sit in a coffee shop. It's okay to date yourself. Go someplace away from where you're familiar and have dinner, and do it regularly, because otherwise you're going to keep bumping up against
the same people. That's real good advice. That's really good advice.
Who have shared the people that you're interested in. For me, like a man doesn't want a woman that's been everywhere, I don't want a man that's been everywhere. It's not cute. It doesn't.
That's right.
It's experienced. it tells me that he doesn't care where he drops his head in the bed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't want that.
No.
So go somewhere different. My advice to women, go somewhere different and do something different. Put your smile on, be open to meeting people, and not open to bringing everybody home that you meet.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big problem. That's what makes
Yeah,
it difficult for women who have standards. And when women have standards, men have oh, their standards are too high. No, they're just basic standards. Good
Mm-hmm.
character, the
Yeah.
ability to have a conversation. You haven't dropped your head in the bed everywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you care about where you're going and what you're doing. Those standards shouldn't be too high. But for a lot of people, men and women alike, they are.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And
They
you
are.
know what? If I'm being honest, I don't think the standards are hard. It's a laziness that comes along with it. I
Right.
don't have to do all of this hard work over here for Yolanda if I can go over here to let's just say Brenda, and it's like the red carpet is rolled out and I'm treated like a king over here, and Yolanda over here treating me like I'm a peasant. I'm gonna go to where I'm being treated like the man.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And guess what they
So
always want
I
to do,
think it's
Eddie?
a laziness that comes with that. It's a big laziness, but I really do like that advice of, getting out of your comfort zone, because I must admit, sometimes I find myself apprehensive to want to go to a lot of different events and things that's going on, because you see the same people. And I used to always joke, like, for example, um, after having my first son, I went back 14 years later and had another one. So don't judge me, y'all, right? So I came out of the bar scene and I wasn't like out there and things like that. So, when my baby got a little bit bigger, I said, well, I'm going to go and have me a little drink. And then you see the same. I'm like, oh, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. Right. It's been 5 years and you're still giving it a go, huh? So for me, that makes me a little apprehensive. So when I do pop out or I do get somewhere, everybody's like, I haven't seen you in forever. Like, I don't want to be on the scene all the time. I just don't. But then you want to be social. You want to get out there. But, like I told y'all before, child, it makes me feel like the dating pool got pee in it. I can't stay long, Yolanda. I have to get in and get out, girl.
Right, you go right, Queen, because you don't know, like say for instance, you go out, somebody buys you a drink, they added it on page rent. You be like, "Child, you just bought me a drink. Take the drink back." So it's just that we as women, we have to be mindful of the women that's coming up behind us. Like you said, we have to set stand. We have to, be, be a woman, act like a You know, my mother and my father married my mom when she was 16, right?
Okay.
Mm.
And but that don't mean nothing. They can marry you young, but then because like my dad said, he says, when I married your mother, he said I don't have enough sense to turn down the other women. He said, because once you get married, women throw themselves at you. We ain't talked about that part. When
Talk about it,
oh,
Yolanda.
Wait,
I'm
wait,
here
wait,
for
wait.
it. Talk
I
about it.
want to
women
tell you
throw
that we're going to
themselves
do
at
a podcast
know the
3, Yolanda.
they know the
We're going
things.
to talk
Okay.
about sugar
Okay.
daddies and side chicks,
Yes,
No,
but not
sugar
here.
daddies.
with us.
Listen,
Yep.
sugar daddies, sugar babies, sugar mamas.
They don't care.
Okay.
Mm-mm. I mean, so you have to look at it that way too. You look at people and you say, well, you don't mess with love. So when I got married and when that happened with me, when my ex-husband did what he did, my mother said, let them stay together, honey. Don't try to break them up. Okay, let them two stay together. And I thought that was kind of weird for my mom to say to me. And then she explained to me why she said it. She said, let me explain something to you. You can't fight love. You can't fight lust. When people are lusting after each other and they want to be together, you can't fight that. That's a force you can't reckon with. So you let them have that. Okay, and because you don't want to unleash them on someone else, let them two stay together. Yep,
Yes.
I'm talking about y'all. If y'all listening, yep, but they still together. Stay together because you don't want them to break up to go mess up somebody else's home. You messed up one already. Don't mess no more up. Stay together. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Don't shut down again. I'm sorry.
Now
No.
let me say this to you, Yolanda, because I got some information one time that it was mind blowing to me. Okay, my grandmother, really close with my grandma. We talk all the time and everything, you know. And I had a boyfriend at the time that did something that was really low down, and it was betrayal for me. Okay, I don't do cheating because I don't have to share. And sir, listen, if this no longer serves you, please, by all means,
Yeah.
Fantasia made a whole song about it. Free yourself. So when you put me in a situation, it's a whole issue. So my grandmother said, so I broke up with him. And my grandmother said to me, you don't ever let somebody have your man. I said, well, grandma, listen, if he was my man, he would have never been over there. So
Mhm.
for me, they can have at it.
Have at it.
But then I had to look at it too, because my grandmother raised 6, 7 kids, okay, with the same person, okay. They were together for eons, okay. And my grandmother's thought was, or her feeling was, back in those times, my grandfather was the breadwinner and things like that. So my grandma said, there's no woman going to interrupt what I got going on. And I get that. But
Mhm.
like I said to her, I have no children with him, grandma. And guess what? I'm not staying anywhere that I feel that I'm being mistreated. So for me, they could kick rocks with no socks. I was cool with it.
Mhm.
And I let that be, and so my grandma said, well, okay, I can understand that, but that would have never been me. I said, grandma, you stronger than me, girl. We laughed about it,
Right.
but yeah, seriously.
Mhm. Yeah, I can truly understand that because in that particular era, the women
Mm-hmm.
stayed with the men no matter what they did, how long they stayed out, what they took their money
Yep.
to, whatever. I seen it. Trust me, I seen the same thing with my grandparents, so I understand.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not gonna
Mm-hmm.
where back then they called the men by their last names too.
Mister.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. They sure did.
Mister.
So they looked up to those men. They didn't care what those men did or where they went. And now we have this next generation. Oh, I ain't taking that from Robbie, Ricky, or Mike.
At all, Bobby either. How about that?
So we got these.
I think what has happened in relationships when we get back to dating and this foolishness about where you can't take me or you can take me. I think if women and men would spend a lot more time concerned about the character of the person they're dating, I think we'd have less divorce,
Mhm.
less
I agree.
unwanted
Yep.
children,
I
less
agree.
drama, trauma, and domestic violence.
Come on, somebody.
Absolutely.
Stay with the
Absolutely.
character. Stay with the character.
Mhm.
You guys touched a little bit, you're troublemakers, right? But
Oh,
this is
It's
but
her.
that's
this is good
Yolanda. Isn't
trouble.
she
This
something?
is good trouble because Shauna talked about couch surfing, and so you pulled me up on something. Number one, he ain't sleeping on my couch. I don't care who he is.
Well, that's just the term. They wasn't going to be on the couch anyway. Their aim is to get in that bed.
Okay. So the aim is to get to the comfort room.
Mhm.
There you
If-
go.
Mhm.
But the bottom line is this: if we change women, what we're doing, they'll change what they're doing.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Men, there's
Absolutely.
some great men out here. I know there are.
Mhm.
Men misbehave because women let them.
Yeah.
I agree.
Mhm.
I
So
agree.
the next time we come back, we're going to talk about sugar daddies
Mm.
and side chicks
Mm.
Mhm.
because, and that's going to be a lot of trouble because most people think that being side woman is okay.
Yeah, sneaky links is the new term for it. The sneaky links,
Okay,
they
so
Wait
call
till
it.
pull
Shauna
me
get
up. Pull
up.
me up. I'm okay. Pull me up.
Yolanda, listen, I'm gonna keep you current, girl. That's the new term. The sneaky links.
Sneaky links. It's not a side chick anymore.
Oh.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
in the world? What does Sam Hill and Jill
Mhm.
makes you think that all you're worth is a sneaky link? You think you're doing
Look at
something?
that.
I'll tell you what's slick. At the end of the day, you're alone. At the end of the day, he's still going home to the what
Mhm.
are they called now?
Absolutely.
What are they
Absolutely.
called now? The main. What are they
Yep.
called?
Yep. Yep. The main. You got
He's
it.
still going home to the main.
Mm-hmm.
If that's good enough for you, what that tells me about you is that your self-esteem.
Mm. You didn't even
Wait,
get a month.
wait.
What about the polyamorous relationships? Can we talk about that next time?
See, y'all gonna get us kicked off Facebook.
We're not. Listen, okay, listen. It takes a lot of understanding, and we're just touching bases on these things because these are like the new norms these days. These are the new norms, for a lot of people.
Yeah. And everybody's norm is different.
Absolutely.
Everybody's norm is different, but it doesn't make it okay.
It doesn't make it
We're
okay.
not trying to be troublemakers. We just want to touch bases on
I
it.
want to put it out in the atmosphere on every one of these platforms. I don't even share my toys.
Okay.
I'm not gonna share my man knowingly.
I agree, but
Okay?
has it gotten that bad where we're willing to just accept he and she to have a he? I'm just saying,
I'm just
Yolanda.
saying, I mean, because a lot of times right now, someone was telling me about this thing where the women are, if the man send them $40, they send them a naked picture. I'm like, for what? I'm like, for $40.
That's the
Wait a
going
minute.
rate, $40.
Wait, I gotta get back to Shauna. The $40. That's
$40. Mm.
I was like, what?
but what's that he, she, and he thing?
Well, the thing can be not necessarily. No. Let me back up. There's a TV show currently. I can't tell you the name of it. Where there's a young lady and she has two live-in men. She's with the two, and then they introduce like a third. This is a television show that's on, where they were exploring like this relationship and everything, But then I've seen it also with the men with the multiple women. And these people, the three of them are dedicated to each other. And it's various different ways that they come together to do this thing.
Are they
it's
married? Are they married?
The lady was married to the one guy, and then she brought the boyfriend in, and then there was another boyfriend that came in.
Oh my goodness.
But they were living in the same household. I'll find out the name of the TV show, even though I may not be able to talk about it, but off the record, we'll talk.
I've seen that.
Mm-mm.
Okay, yeah. So no, it really is a real thing, Yolanda. And so right now, I'm feeling like, especially let's say in areas where the women outnumber the men 3-1, is that what you have to resort to? Or have you really came to grips in your own mind that maybe that's all you can get to have a man, is that you have to share with, like what is that? But my whole thing is, I think that's a very interesting topic.
Wait, because see, audience, they're schooling me. I have to tell you. They're taking me to school. So you're saying that there'll be a man and a woman, and then they'll introduce another man?
Or another woman. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Sound like you had them put 4 people. It's like it was like 4 people.
No, what I'm saying is the TV show that I was explaining, it was 4 people. Okay. It was the one woman and the 3 men. And so initially when she was talking with the 2 guys, they were just saying like that's a 3-income household, and then the other guy, he traveled from someplace else and he came on in and everything, and he also moved in, and they were saying how she sleeps predominantly with the one, but certain nights she'll go to the other rooms and things like that. And so these men, and they were all people of color, and they were all in agreement with this particular situation. So
I get kicked off Facebook.
Okay, we don't want to get kicked off.
We're gonna get kicked off Facebook. Yolanda, it's not you tonight. It's Shauna.
Wait a minute.
Listen,
we're coming about hot topic.
We're past our time. We're coming back. We have to come back because
we have to. But we have to touch bases on that. These are all things that are very relevant in today's climate and you know what's going on. And they're on social media and things like that.
Okay. My name is Annette.
Yolanda, don't look at me like that, Yolanda.
I'm your host here at Word on the Curb. This is the word out there in the street. We're talking about dating, where you won't go, what you won't do. And now these ladies have hopped into dating or marriage or relationships where there's three or more people. I'm going to have to do some research on this. I'm not sure about it. Here's what I can tell you for sure. We're going to come back.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And Yolanda is going to flip her hair. Go ahead, baby. Flip your hair.
Okay. Listen, party part 3. Stay tuned, people.
My goodness. Before I leave, I want to
hope
be
you don't get shut down.
dating is about getting to know the person. And I also want to remind you that dating is for married people and committed couples too. Dating doesn't
Absolutely.
it doesn't end. Thank you for joining us here this evening. I have Yolanda Robinson and Shauna Ingram.
Why did you say it like that?
Because tonight you were the test tonight. You were the test. You brought up some topics that's not going to be easy to discuss, and we're going to have to bring some more people on.
But we
And
can do it. We can do it. And we'll have a great time doing it.
We're going to be talking about me, he, she, and he. I want to thank you for joining us here this evening. Remember to check us out on Apple, Spotify, Blurberry, YouTube, and Facebook at Word on the Curb, What Trenton Really Makes, and a Black Girls Locker Room, where solidarity wins and where we broadcast from. Good night, y'all. We'll see you again soon if they don't kick us
off. Good night.